What's up, YouTube? So my Intex Greywood hot tub, I put 5 or 6 videos about this thing up on the channel, and they've all done really well. I've had people asking me for updates, so I want to go ahead and make an update for you guys, because next month I will have owned this hot tub for 2 years. So I'm going to tell you around what it costs. I'm going to tell you my experiences with it. I've had it in 3 locations. Let's get started. First of all, go ahead and make fun of my dungeon-esque basement all you want, but the house burned down about 5 or 6 years ago, and we built back the top, and the basement has just, as you can see, I'm still working on the walls. It's on the to-do list, and I just haven't made it as far as I want to yet. So when I first bought this hot tub 2 years ago, I put it on my back porch. That's where most people kind of put their hot tub, and I liked it there. It was nice on the back porch. The only issue I ever had was bugs. We also had some farm animals. We had some goats, and they would get up on top of it and stuff, and surprisingly, they never caused it any damage. But because of that, I ended up moving it to my garage. And another reason I moved it to the garage was because I wanted to keep it up year-round. And we're in Appalachia. This, the temperature gets cold, and you're not supposed to keep these outside any colder than, like, I don't know, 40 degrees or something. So I moved it to my garage, which was, warmer, and I kept it up year round. So then the issue there was, in my garage, it's not connected to my house. It's pretty close, but it's not connected, and I just wouldn't use it as often. It was kind of like out of sight, out of mind, and my family wasn't out there or whatever, so I just didn't use it that often. So I got the idea to bring it down to the basement here, and I love it, guys. It's my basement's not finished, at least not yet, so it's concrete floor. It's got a drain over there. A couple times a year on really hard rains, the basement floods anyway. That's why the floor is kind of dirty, but I use it way more often down here, and there's less temperature fluctuations because it's climate controlled down here. So it does seem a little cheaper to keep this thing, cheaper and easier to keep this thing warm. Now this is the Intex Greywood, and I think it says it's a 6-person. Let me tell you guys about these hot tubs, these inflatables. If they say they're a 4-person, they're actually a 2-person. If they say they're a 6-person, they're actually a 4-person. Like, yeah, could you cram 6 people in here? Sure. But comfortably, 4. What do I need to cover next? So I guess next I should say that I haven't had any puncture problems, and I've moved this thing 3 times. I've had goats on top of it, cats on top of it. If you have cats, they love to sleep right here because there's nothing between them and the water, and it feels really warm and nice. So my cats used to try to sleep on here. I had to remedy that, but I've had no issues with any cuts or air leaks. After maybe a few months, the hot tub itself and the cover will start to have lost a little bit of air. And whenever you're doing a clean or a move, every few cleans or moves, I just hook the pump up, and it pumps air back into it and gets it filled up again. So let's talk about the pump. I had some issues when I first bought it with some error codes. It would run and just randomly throw error codes, and when it throws error codes, it shuts down the heating and pumping, and you come home after a long day at work and it's not on, which is annoying. I switched from the paper filters that come with the hot tub. I switched to the foam filters. I'll put a link for those, but I think the paper filters just restrict too much flow. These are the foam filters, and they're pretty cheap on Amazon. Get a pack. I'll put the link down below. I've had no issue after switching to those foam filters. As far as cleaning them or not, sometimes I clean them. If they're in too rough a shape, I just throw them away. If they're not disintegrating, not coming apart, then I just go ahead and clean them with the water hose and reuse them. As far as chemicals, I've been using these Spa Essentials brominating tabs, bromine, and I put it took me a while to figure out what the best amount of these was. A couple of them will do it. They're small tabs, but if you really want to keep the water super clear, put about 4 of them in a little floater, and you're in good shape. Everybody wants to know about electricity. I've done some electricity tests, and guys, this thing can cost anywhere between $40 and $70 a month, depending on where you have it, how cold it is, how much you use it, how much you're using the jets. It is definitely not cheap on the electricity. It does just use a standard plug, and another thing to be aware of is if the power trips out, your screen will error out and the pump will go off, and I have to pretty much completely unplug this for a few minutes, plug it back in to get it working again. So have I had any issues with this thing? The only issues I've had thus far is that this top connection right here drips, this one right here, and I've tightened it down as tight as I feel comfortable tightening it multiple times, and it still leaks. I don't want to break it. It's a very, very, very slow drip, which is kind of annoying, and I haven't really been able to find the replacement like gasket inserts for it. But besides that, no other issues with this hot tub. As far as cleaning it, I clean it maybe once every 4 or 5 months. It's very easy to drain. It's got a drain in the bottom. I connect my water hose to the drain in the bottom, and I run it to my drain over there and just open it, and it drains it out. Once it's drained out of water, one person can flip it up on its side and spray it out, clean it out, whatever you need to do. Now, how about the heat? Well, I like hot water, guys. I could do 106. This thing tops out at 104. It will keep it at 104, but the cover has to be on it. Now, if you take the cover off, it cannot keep itself hot enough, and it will slowly lose temperature. And if you take the cover off and get in the hot tub, it will slowly lose temperature, but you're probably good. It'll probably take you an hour to get below 100, which is when you start to really notice it cooling down. However, when you turn the jets on, and the jets aren't really jets, they're really just air bubbles, but they do help. But you turn those on, and this thing will drop in temperature pretty fast. You turn those on, and it'll drop down to 100 in probably 30 or 40 minutes. So that's something to be aware of. So my remedy for that is I have hot water plumbed to right here. I'm eventually going to plumb it to right to my hot tub on the wall. But if I want to get in this thing for an hour or 90 minutes and I want to use the jets and it to be hot the whole time, I can just turn on my hot water over there and have hot water straight from my hot water tank go into the hot tub. So overall, am I happy with this thing? Absolutely I am. I got it on Amazon, and I got it on sale like $6.99, and I did the 12-month financing on it, so I paid for it over a year. It was like, I don't know, whatever, $50 a month for a year, and I've got 2 years out of it. And yeah, if it has any major failures, I won't really hesitate to get another one. It's way less hassle-free than a regular hot tub, and it made sense for me, especially if you don't know where your location is going to be or something like that. My situation specifically, I have some new porches are going to be built soon, and I don't want to get a permanent hot tub until those porches are built and set in stone. So this makes perfect sense for me right now. So if you're mobile, or you might be moving, this is even better. All right, well, that's about all I got to share. 2 years, she's still great. We get in it several times a week. If you got any questions, leave them down below, and I'll make a video and try to answer them for you. Thanks a lot.